Okay, I want to share with you now one of my most important recipes for cooking curry in bulk, and that's a vegetable curry. Now I'm cooking here about 30-40 portions. One of the reasons this is an important recipe for me is that it's incredibly quick to do. I can go from literally just the bags of vegetables to completing the dish for 50 covers in about 2.5 hours. Just do a quick run around of the ingredients. So it's cauliflower. In here we've got potato, yam and sweet potato. Cauliflower's about 6 minutes. Potato 3 or 4 minutes, so it still has a bit of crunch. The yam and the sweet potato maybe even less, 2 or 3 minutes. This is pre-cooked onion and green and red pepper mix. That's been boiled for about 4 or 5 minutes. These are just straightforward frozen green beans, frozen peas. Over there I have a tin of chickpeas, brown sugar, kasuri methi, dried fenugreek leaf, and fresh coriander chopped. That was growing in the garden an hour ago. Sorry, that is lemon dressing. That's a 50-50 mixture of lemon juice and oil. A couple more ingredients just before we start. That's aromatic salt. This is what I call a Buna mix. It's a 50-50 mix of my homemade mix powder with Balst mild curry powder with a small quantity of hing, asafoetida, added to it. And this is finely chopped onion. Okay, so the steps involved are what you'd expect from any recipe like this. We're going to start by frying some onion in oil. I'm not adding any garlic to this, it's not part of this recipe. The way this will differ from the way that maybe you're used to cooking these curries is that you're going to see me heaping a lot of ingredients into the pan. Okay, we want plenty of heat, as much as you can give it, and then about 25-30 ml of vegetable oil. Okay, that's hot. Let's cook. We've got 2 chef spoons of finely chopped onion. I want to get this fairly well done, just so I can see some flecks of brown around the edge of the pan. That's fine. Now, you want to come off the heat here. I'm actually going to turn the heat off, just let that settle down for a second. Okay, I usually add salt fairly on during cooking. You can add it right at the beginning. It doesn't matter particularly when you put it in, but just so I remember to do it, I normally do it now. It's a reasonable amount going in there, about a 1/3 teaspoon. Here's the tomato paste. Now we're doing quite a large quantity here, so I'm going to put, this is probably a couple of heaped teaspoons of tomato paste. Our Buna spice mix. It's about 2.5 tablespoons. You can see it's quite a large quantity going into the pan already, and I'm just going to fuse that in with the hot oil. Now you need to put enough oil into the pan at the beginning to form a wet looking paste at this stage. If you don't put enough oil in, the spice will be too dry and it will burn too easily. If you put too much in, it's not actually a problem at all. You might want to skim it off at some stage, because it's not everyone's preference to have a lot of oil in their curry, but better too much oil than too little, or on the side of too much. Okay, that's mixed in. I'm going to get the heat, high heat, back under it again. Get that quite hot. Really sizzling around the edges. The oil's starting to split away from the paste. And this is the hot gravy. Just one ladle of that to start with. Put that in like that. So we're developing quite a thick paste here. And while that's frying off a bit, this is kasuri methi. And fairly early on, so it's got a chance to caramelise. We've got going in about a teaspoon of brown sugar. Okay, it's feeling pretty hot. It's gone back to the paste, so we're going to add more gravy. 3 ladles going in there. Right, the pan's about half full of sauce now, and that's plenty to work with. Now, these vegetables are pre-cooked, so I don't really want to cook them very much more. I want to get them into the hot sauce, I want to get them coated, and it's enough so I know everything is frankly sterile, clean, but not overcooking, and I'm going to quickly get it into a big steel pot to chill down. And you want really to aim for everything to be half cooked. So I'm going to put the heat right down now and start adding vegetables. First thing to go in is this onion pepper mix, about 2 chef spoons of that. These are tin chickpeas, use the juice, it's good vegetable stock. A third of a tin of those. Now we're already going way beyond what would be a normal quantity to cook in a pan. I use my black steel chef's pan. This would work in a bigger pan. As long as you can get that heat that we saw earlier to get the fusion of the oil and spices, you could do this in a very large pan. But this, I find this is a manageable sort of size. Okay, cauliflower. 2 spoons, and then this is sweet potato, yam and ordinary potato, and we're really hitting this in now. As you can see, the pan is just going to be heatful. Just a few frozen peas. Same with beans, frozen beans. You can use whichever vegetables you want in this, really, whatever you've got, whatever's in season, whatever you fancy. There's really no limit. Just cook them separately, pre-cook them separately, so you've got control over having a nice, consistent cooking across all of the ingredients. So I'll put the heat back up. I'm not using tomatoes in this. I tend to serve this with a madras and something like a Rogan Josh, and they already have enough tomato in them. So I get the acidity in this one from the lemon dressing, which I'll add at the very end. Lemon dressing is useful for adding a little bit, it cuts things a bit with the lemon in it, but because you shake the lemon up with oil, you get an emulsion, and that emulsion helps gloss up the sauce, and the sauce lasts longer without splitting. Okay, that's all nice and hot now. I'm just going to put some fresh coriander in, just a generous pinch. At some stage you should check the seasoning. This will depend on how much salt you cook the vegetables in to start with, as well as how much you added in the pan. And the vegetables will tend to carry on absorbing salt after they've been cooked. So it's a good idea to check the seasoning more than once until you're satisfied that everything's nicely balanced up. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off that, finish it with just a lug of lemon dressing, and that would be enough for about, as a side dish, for about 8 or 10 people. As a main dish for hungry vegetarians for maybe 3, maybe 4. Just a word about the stock that the vegetables have been cooked in. All of my potatoes, cauliflower, onions, peppers, yams, sweet potato have been cooked in the same water, salt, haldi and panch-phoron. And this is what's left at the end. That is a fantastic stock. Really, really good. Better than anything you can get from a stock cube, so don't throw it away. Keep that, use it in your cooking. I put it in my gravy. And then we have vegetable curry, cooked in bulk but really delicious and good to put in front of anyone.